The reserve will be capitalized with Bitcoin that the federal government already owns, so it won't cost taxpayers a dime. This is like a digital Fort Knox for digital gold. And premature sales of Bitcoin over the past years cost American taxpayers over $17 billion in lost value because we didn't have a long-term strategy.
Right.
Now we do. So.
And this is something you believe in fully?
100%, yeah.
Okay.
And the whole community believes in it.
Very good. And I made the promise, right?
Absolutely.
In a shocking new development, former President Trump has officially declared that the United States now holds an astounding 198,109 Bitcoins in its strategic Bitcoin reserve. Now, you need to know what this really means. This announcement is a lot more than just a blip on the radar here. It's a clear response to economic stagnation and the declining value of the dollar. As the world watches us recover from 4 years of bumbling Biden, Americans are still struggling, and the government is still slumping under the weight of crippling regulations that stifle economic growth and personal wealth. And here lies the promise, the virtually unlimited promise of cryptocurrency, an opportunity for the average citizen to break free from the oppressive chains of traditional finance. And you know what I'm talking about when I use that term oppression. That's a very literal phrase or a very literal word I'm picking there. The corporate oligarchs, the banks, the financiers, they've all created a financial system that is inherently and intentionally rigged particularly against you. You're not meant to be a part of it, at least not an owner of it, right? Remember the Davos dictum, right? You'll own nothing and you'll be happy about it. In other words, you'll have no choice in the matter. But this old industrialized system of finance is precisely the world that crypto is breaking free from. As we see the old system crumble, as we see financial disasters cropping across the nation, plummeting home values, rising inflation, diminishing purchasing power for everyday Americans, a new economic reality is breaking through. Joining us today is crypto expert Jonathan Rose, who's dedicated himself to showing all of us how we can navigate these tumultuous waters and seize the new and promising opportunities in cryptocurrency. He's not just observing the chaos, he's shaping the solutions that have transformed lives and are ready to transform yours. Make sure to click on that link below and visit turleytalkscrypto.com. Do it today and you can claim up to $2,500 in funding bonuses. Jonathan, welcome. It's great to have you here.
Thank you for having me. Wow, what a fantastic opening monologue. So I have a lot to follow there, but a couple of words really caught my ears and kind of perked up when you talked about oppression, when you look at the financial system being rigged against us, and it really has, and especially for retail investors. And just a quick background about me, obviously you can tell I'm not originally from here, grew up in London, England, and I was very fortunate enough to work on the London Metal Exchange. I was very involved in commodities back then. I worked for Merrill Lynch, Morgan Stanley, dabbled a little bit in the Forex with these AAA rated banks, but really commodities was really my training wheel, so to speak, for my entrance into the finance sector. And boy, have times changed. And when you look at the retail market, there really is a big suppression here where we're kind of spoon-fed these measly returns. You know, be happy with your 6 or 11%, and that's not even keeping pace with inflation, right? And we're looking for these alternative solutions. And, you know, when you talk about cryptocurrency, it's definitely something still very new to people. I wasn't always a crypto believer, but I feel like people like myself who weren't always a crypto believer, when you do believe, you believe really hard because you see
become
the
quite
light.
evangelical.
Oh gosh, that's me through and through now, especially because I was trained not to believe in these types of assets. And I think 2015 is when I really started dabbling into Bitcoin. And it wasn't until I saw full adoption on the cards, I knew it would happen. It's just a question of not if, it's a question of when. well, we know now, especially under President Trump and the regulations that they're pushing through to have mass adoption, what we're seeing right now is what we refer to as the crypto revolution. And more
Yes.
importantly, the biggest transfer in wealth in history that's taken place. And it's really about educating people on the importance of having cryptocurrency in their portfolio, because if they don't, I personally feel they're going to get left behind.
Yes.
And this really is the message that I share with your audience is don't be afraid of cryptocurrency. In fact, embrace it.
Yeah.
Like I've embraced it because it's changed my life, and it can definitely change yours as well.
Yeah, it just seems if I mean, thank you for that because it seems to me that, and one of the things that I talk about a lot on the channel is that we appear to be entering more and more into what scholars are calling it almost like a cyber civilization. Where just
Mm,
everything is getting digitalized and AI and all the you name it, and that includes money. Money is moving into this sort of digital revolution that has all of these amazing benefits. It's not subject to the decaying effects of entropic processes. Well, it is, but
mm,
not like my computer that breaks down in a
mm,
year kind of thing, right? I mean, it just seems like it's an inevitability. And that's what I'm hoping. I know for a lot of people, it's brand new territory they've never been on and seems a little bit risky. I don't know. But I love the way you put it because the way you're expressing it, I'm hearing this term inevitability
mm.
in what you're saying. Am I correct on that?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a digital revolution that we're currently experiencing, right? And people are hearing these words like AI, digital money, being referred to Bitcoin as digital gold, as the next generation of wealth. So I think people just need to get comfortable with the fact that everything evolves. Technology evolves. I remember when I was younger, my dad in England growing up, he used to have something, we called it a filofax. I don't know what you would call it over here, but it was like a big black book. And then after he would walk around with it, and then after that became the brick cell phone. Okay, the evolution, the jump from this diary to the brick phone, and then to the flip phones, and then to the iPhone. So there's been revolutionary jumps just in technology over the years. This is the same with the financial sector. There's been massive financial jumps. And when you look at these financial jumps, you can either be a part of it or you can get left behind. And right now, we may not have a crystal ball, but we have a very good roadmap. And we know what that roadmap looks like. And as President Trump and his board of advisors, these crypto experts have come out and said, we are going to make the US the crypto capital of the world. It's very important to understand, what that means for an investor. Full adoption of assets, even like Bitcoin, to the US Treasury sheet is a not just a big deal, it's a massive deal, because what we're going to see is 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, assets such as Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, they are going to be on the forefront of generational wealth, and they're going to be on the forefront of use case scenarios, use case strategies, not just with the US government, but with people and society. So it's just knowing how to take advantage of this. And as
Yeah.
we see this seismic shift that's happening right now, I'm a big believer in being proactive and not reactive, because how many times have you heard people say, oh, I'm too late to get involved, or I wish I would have got involved sooner? And for
Yeah.
those people, I'd say you're not too late. We are at the very beginning, and the train hasn't left the station, so to speak, but
Yeah.
it's definitely telling people to come on board. And this is the point I'm making, is that people need to understand what's happening in this arena, because it's super exciting. People are looking for financial independence. They're sick of these Beasley returns that I briefly talked about, that we're told to get used to, and people are looking to become financially independent through alternative assets. And myself, being from a finance background and working for these big American banks, I know what they want us to do. They don't want us buying assets like this. They don't want us
Right.
being financially independent. They want us in debt and in these other products that just nickel and dime them and make them money, and not us. And I say no more.
No more. I love it. Here, here. So I mean, I think you really did give us a very nice sketch about this strategic Bitcoin reserve and what it means for Americans, fighting to reclaim their economic freedom, as it were. Do you see this as basically do you see this as breaking out of the old Bretton Woods system? Or maybe it's a Bretton Woods. I don't know. Some will have it 3, Bretton Woods 4. Are we really seeing a new financial universe
Yeah.
explode here?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I think it comes back to when you look at the Bretton Woods system, or you just look at currencies, everything has a beginning and an end, right? And even when we look at fiat currencies, there's a timeline to we see that these fiat currencies collapse. And when you look at mass adoption for Bitcoin and what the Trump organization are trying to do, they are kind of subliminally telling us, hey, this may be a way for us to get rid of our debt, because we're $36 trillion in debt as we
Right,
speak today, probably
right.
higher. And I've been a big advocate in the past of telling people that debt does matter. You can't
Yeah,
just keep printing
yeah,
money and not
yeah,
expect any ramifications. And when you throw in market instability, tariffs war, domestic international terrorism, it's a melting pot of problems. And
yeah.
people are looking for asset classes that are going to protect us against that. Now,
Yes,
does that mean cryptocurrencies are going to protect us against that? Well, maybe the time ladder hasn't kind of told us that answer yet, but we do know that it's here to stay. And
right.
by having the current administration have a full adoption of Bitcoin, which I had an interview with someone a few weeks ago, and they said to me, "What do you think is going to happen with Bitcoin in the future?" And I said, "Well, I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I say by the end of the year, I think we're going to see full adoption of Bitcoin and even Bitcoin added to our US Treasury balance sheet." And I got a couple of sniggers back at me, and I was right and wrong. I was right, but I was wrong in the timing. It is now. It
It
happened like
didn't
the
take,
following
yeah,
week.
right. It did take
So,
it did take
so
months. Ugh.
yeah. So what I've learned from this current administration is they're moving at neck pace, like cracking your
Yeah,
neck speed. They're just moving super fast. And I think people need to realize, mass adoption of cryptocurrencies is very good for the country.
yeah,
It can pay down the US debt.
yeah,
It does have use case scenarios. And more importantly, if you have retirement accounts now, you can even put, cryptocurrency in your retirement, such as IRAs, 401ks. So this mass adoption, this mainstream nod, and the box that's being ticked is letting people know it's here to stay. It's not
yeah.
going anywhere. And you can either participate in this or get left behind. And again, this is why education is key to make people feel comfortable with what's happening in this industry.
And you can look at it from a counterfactual perspective as well. In that we see the way the Biden administration, particularly the SEC, how they were harassing the crypto world so much, how they were harassing particularly Ripple, how they were harassing Coinbase. They seem not to want that industry, or whatever you want to call that world, literally, to explode. They seem to want to keep a cap on it. Am I right on that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, the Biden administration was very anti-crypto. It wasn't friendly, but I knew it's just a matter of time before that script gets flipped to the other side, where it does become friendly. And as I speak to you today, I know the SEC have dropped charges on Ripple, and that's great news. That's great news for the industry. I think it's managing people's expectations. So when President Trump got in, we saw cryptocurrencies, everything fly out, but retail sentiment, retail minds is everything goes up forever. It's always going to go forever. So as soon as it got its first knock, and believe it or not, the first knock when we saw a pullback recently was this mass adoption. And you think that would be great news. And for a lot of us, it was. But for retail investors and some other people out there, it was like, yeah, but they only poured our glass half full. It wasn't full all the way. And they didn't have they didn't hear words and sentences like we're going to use taxpayers' money to buy crypto, and we're going to use it to pay down the trade deficit. So that's kind of what caused a little bit of ripple, so to speak, in the marketplace, and some pullbacks amongst other things. But really, it's a phenomenal thing that's happened, that they're now
Yeah.
building the building blocks. And there's been a lot of leaks from the White House press secretary saying that they plan in the future on going on a mass buying spree
Yeah.
for assets like Bitcoin. So
Yeah.
so again, it's reading between the lines, and it's like the chessboard is being set, right? They already know the moves, and if you can read between the lines, you know what's happening with these chess pieces. We feel that we know, and there's great opportunity with that. And when you talk about crypto and volatility, we like volatility too, and I'll explain that to you in a little bit as well.
Yeah, no, I want you to as well. It took me a while. I've been in the crypto world now for about 2 years, 3 years, so I'm a slightly late comer from not like
Mhm.
2015, but yeah, when I first saw my first dip, I went, I'm not used to it.
Right.
Now I welcome them. I go, ooh, I get to
Mhm.
gobble up more. I
Mhm.
love it, and even
Mhm.
just now, even with the correction that we're in the high 80s. What, we're still 30% above where we were this time last year. That's not a bad return, right?
Yeah.
Something to, I think I got my numbers right on that.
Yeah.
Talk to us, please do, Jonathan. Talk to us how Block Trust IRA technology and how AI is helping to shape this industry. Again, I love this digital revolution that's happening. I think it just
Yeah.
feels like we're on the cusp of it, and you guys are right there. You're on the front lines of this revolution.
We really are at the forefront of this, and through our technology, we're at the forefront. So um, with Block Trust IRA is a platform we created, and it was created out of my contacts in the financial industry and a lot of clients asking me over the years, well, how do you buy cryptocurrency? How do I do it safely and securely? So box one to tick was to create a platform that provide the right customer service, the right help, the hand holding for people
Yes,
to buy
very
cryptocurrency.
important.
Because I think of like my dad, okay, and my dad's like, what's all this cryptocurrency about? How do I buy it? I tried to buy it. I have no idea what I'm doing. Can you come around and help me? Right. So
Yeah.
that's, I feel like, general population. If my dad doesn't know how to do it, there's a problem there. So it's about creating a platform where people are being handheld and they can purchase cryptocurrencies safely and securely. So Block Trust IRA has over 60 different cryptocurrencies that they can purchase. The
Wow.
second question we get, which I think is the most important question that kind of alleviates a lot of the concerns, is people say, well, isn't cryptocurrency volatile? Doesn't it go up, but it also goes down a lot? It's like you said, that roller coaster can be very scary. And I say, absolutely right. Cryptocurrency is inherently volatile. So how did we address that situation? Well, Block Trust IRA partnered with an award-winning tech company called Animus Technologies. And Animus Technologies has been around, gosh, since about 2015 as well. And they have the number one trading strategy for Bitcoin awarded to them through Bitcoin Magazine. And
Wow.
their strategies have only been available to hedge funds and institutional investors. So, what does Animus do? So, basically, in a nutshell, because it's AI focused, so they have these massive servers all around the world, and they're known as what's called as a quant fund. And they are taking millions and millions of data points from around the world. It could be from social media channels like X, Twitter, Facebook, like today, FOMC meetings, what's happening with the Fed rates, international quotas from economic data, big, very macro orientated, and it's crunching all this data, and it's basically telling us through AI when to buy and when to sell. So a good example of this is
Ah,
after Trump's presidency, the market flew up, and we have clients that have IRAs, 401ks, and around the world, some in just cash positions. And the AI sold everyone's positions at 1:38 a.m. Everyone was sleeping. And why it did this was because it's almost like having a security guard, at the exchange, watching people. There's lots of people, running out the back door. Something's happening in the marketplace. It's time to get out. So it moved all of our people's investments into a cash position, and then the market dropped 20 to 30%. So
wow.
If you are in a buy and hold strategy, which is
Yeah.
the only strategy available right now, you'd be down 20 to 30%, not our clients. And in fact,
Wow.
everyone is still sitting in cash right now, and we're waiting
Wow.
for the buy sign to come back in. So once the buy sign happens, we buy back in low. Everyone now acquires more coins, and then it lets it ride. And if the signals tell us to sell again, it will sell. Now, this doesn't mean that you're giving your money to some robot that's trading for you. Absolutely not. But what it means is we have the best AI tools available to the best traders. And based on significant benchmarks, our strategies beat the benchmark. So again, quick example, 2022, if you would have had a buy and hold strategy with Bitcoin, you'd be up over 400%, which is still
Wow.
unbelievably amazing. With our strategies, you would actually be up over 625%. So we're not like bragging that we're being greedy and going for the extra 200%. The whole point is going back to that question, how do we protect from downside? How do we protect from volatility? We now like volatility. We need the volatility. That's how we beat the benchmark. So 24/7, 365, crypto doesn't sleep. It's not like trading
Right.
stocks, opening bell,
Right.
closing bell. So what people need to understand is that cryptocurrency it never stops trading. You could be asleep, China could invade Taiwan, Trump could sign an executive order, and it can send the markets into seasonal extremes, positive or negative. And in crypto, you need to have the right
Yep.
tools
Yep.
to mitigate that downside risk. But what if you could have the right tools that mitigate the downside risk and actually capture the profit on the high end and then let you
Yep.
rebuy back in on the low end? So in a nutshell, I know I threw a lot at you right there, but
It's
that's
brilliant. I'm
yeah.
following it perfect. I love it.
Yeah. So award-winning tech. There's nothing like it on the market. Only has been available to hedge funds and institutional investors. In fact, these hedge funds buy our data from us and still use it, which we're actually thinking about in the future of stopping.
Wow.
Because one of the head traders at Animus, I sent him a story and I said, "Oh, this hedge fund you work with, I saw them a big article about them," and he got back to me and it's like he's like, "Oh, gosh, they're spitting out my data that we give them." And I was like, well, at some point that may need to stop. But those strategies are available for the retail investor now, and it's never been available before.
That is so incredible. And again, just I mean, just the civilizational the yeah the literal cryptocosm that you just opened up
Mm,
for us. Just that digital civilizational element, the key elements to it, not just the new currency, as it were, but also the capabilities of AI and merging the two, and the possibilities are just astonishing. Do you, Jonathan, do you agree? I mean, I think the cap right now valuation on Bitcoin, or is it crypto as a whole, is around 3 trillion.
mhm.
What's the cap right now?
Good question. Without looking at the trading screen, I wouldn't know, but it sounds about right. About three
Maybe around, yeah,
trillion.
3 trillion.
Yeah.
Do you see this as just the beginning? Do you see, like, Michael Saylor's talking about,
Mm,
100
mhm.
trillions, just no problem, again, because it's digital. It has
Yeah.
infinite scalability.
I mean, infinite scalability, but with rules and regulations, it can get there. So
Right.
Michael Saylor, one of the most bullish people on the prices of Bitcoin, outrageous numbers, right? Like $1 million. I mean, people need to understand, but that when these billionaires are billionaires for a reason. Yes, they've taken some risks, but they're right more often than they're wrong.
Mhm.
So when people like Michael Saylor are out there saying he's trying to buy as much Bitcoin as he possibly can right now, there's a reason why he's saying this, because he's looking at the US dollar, he's looking at inflation, he's looking at devaluating currencies, not just here domestically, but also internationally, and realize there's going to be a significant shift in our monetary system. And this monetary system shift has begun right now. And the Feds have
Yeah.
tipped their hat to that because they're
Yeah, yeah,
telling us we're in agreement. We're now adding Bitcoin and other assets to our Federal Reserve trade
yeah,
sheet. So
yeah.
yes, I agree with him. Am I as bullish on Bitcoin at $1 million? I'm more show me before I kind of
Mhm.
100% buy in. I can see Bitcoin going to like 200,000 this year, then pulling back. Again, We're not necessarily here with an orange hat and a pickaxe, and we're like all for Bitcoin and all for Ethereum. We are in for the volatility. We like the volatility in our assets because that's how we beat the benchmark for people. But obviously, when you look at Bitcoin and Ethereum, the data points, there's millions and millions of them. It's the most traded coins out there. So it makes our life that much easier. And obviously, that's reflected on our returns for our clients.
I can imagine people watching this and listening to this. I mean, they're sold. This is awesome.
Mhm.
This is just
Yeah.
the way you've explained it, just so sequentially, so logically. Walk us through how you, Jonathan, are helping people seize this moment. What can we do right now to tap into the solutions? We've got TurleyTalksCrypto.com. I love saying that, by the way. It's like a dream come true to have my name and crypto and com all in the one thing. So we got TurleyTalksCrypto.com. What can people do right now? How are you transforming lives specifically, practically?
Yeah, I mean, literally one phone call at a time. It's it's
Okay.
it's literally like that. So we're getting calls not just here in the US, but worldwide, even from London, New Zealand, Australia, Canada, Netherlands. So we're helping people globally. People who have IRAs or 401ks are realizing that they can put these assets in the IRAs. But the biggest light bulb moment is when people hear about the AI tech, right? And up until now, all you can do is have a buy and hold strategy. So you buy a Bitcoin, you hopefully it goes up more than when you first purchased it, so you can sell at a profit. But now they have these strategies, these AI strategies that beat the benchmark, that give them the protection on the downside, and that sense of security helps them make that next step. So when they go to Turley Talks Crypto .com, they can even speak to one of our crypto experts, have a consultation call. They can get an e-guide. Our e-guide will kind of explain what cryptocurrencies Block Trust offer, how we integrate AI into help them not just grow their account, but protect the downside, and the downside is now a good thing for crypto. So it's a first to market product that we have. I was even speaking to Newsweek the other week because they were asking me, "This is crazy. How do you guys do this?" So it's people are waking up to the fact, and I think just having a broad education and people learning about this, that you don't just have to do the dinosaur method of buy and hold. You can now have buy and hold, but with managed risk, and that's the only way to do this, in my opinion.
I never even thought about that. So the old the old Bretton Woods system is going all the way, including even your
Yeah,
investment strategy. I mean, it's true. It's perfect. Absolutely fascinating stuff, Jonathan. Seriously, this is
thank you.
incredible. Gang, you've heard me talk about this time and time again. A new world is really rising. We're on the cusp of a cryptocosm that's going to change the whole way we even just think of money and finances. You just heard investment, and you've got this amazing opportunity to be on the front lines of that. And all you got to do is just click on the link below or go to turleytalkscrypto.com. Do it right now, and you can claim up to $2,500 in funding bonuses. Again, this is an amazing opportunity. So don't miss out on your chance to take financial control in these challenging times. Jonathan, did you want to add anything before we close?
Oh gosh, just to reinforce people that, I used to trade stocks, I used to manage hedge funds. Again, this market doesn't have an opening bell or closing bell. It's traded 24/7, 365. You need these type of management tools in order to manage a market that doesn't sleep. So I'll leave them with that, because I think that's the most important takeaway for me personally.
It is. And again, it's what makes what you do so special and so unique. And it really is something that I just think you're on the cutting edge of the future right now. It's
Thank
just
you.
brilliant, Jonathan. Absolutely brilliant. Thank you so much. Please come again. This is fascinating discussion. I would love to chat with you more. I could talk your ear off on cryptocosm. I promise I won't. I will restrain myself, but I know a lot of people would love to chat with you as well. So make sure, gang, click on that link below. Go to turleytalkscrypto.com and sign up and have a book a call with Jonathan and his team and change your life. It's amazing stuff. The future is now. So, Jonathan, thank you so much.
Thank you.